Grief is a deep emotional response to great loss, and it doesn't always have to be a death that people are grieving, like because something they really cared about that they lose. It can be getting fired from work, finding out that somebody's pregnant, divorce, getting broken up with, being fired from work, moving, changing schools, jail time, and obviously a death for sure. But grieving is a deep emotional response to great loss, and we go through a lot of different reactions when we're grieving. So physical reactions are like feeling weak, muscle tension, pounding hard from all of the cortisol. Mental reactions, low self-esteem, increased nightmares, difficulties concentrating. Common feelings: shock, weakness, sadness, relief, guilt, emptiness. And common behaviors when grieving: crying a lot, changes in work performance, being more clumsy, being more forgetful, overachieving, underachieving. In the grieving process, there are stages of grief that people can go through. They don't have to be in an order. Some stages can be skipped, but it's just how we make sense of what we lost and how we're feeling about it. And Elizabeth Ross made the stages of grief. She was a World War II volunteer in hospitals. She was observing terminally ill patients, kind of receiving the news, hey, you're going to get a leg amputated, or hey, you're going to die in the next 4 weeks. And she would watch their reactions, and then she wrote a book on it. And she would observe loved ones, hey, I regret to tell you that your brother has died. So she watched how people reacted, and then she made all of the stages. Denial and numbness: people don't believe it, or it's difficult to believe it occurred. This isn't happening. Feelings of numbness and shock. Little emotion here because you're in denial and numb. Emotional release: in stages of intense emotion and crying. The reality sets in. That's when the hurt starts. Anger, being frustrated, about what happened. You feel powerless, directed at a lost loved one. How could this person do this? How could they drink and drive? Or the doctor, they should have found the cancer earlier. That's an example of anger. Depression, beyond the feelings of sadness. Isolation, a lot of alcohol and drug abuse. Nothing seems worthwhile. Isolation, not being social. Bargaining is you're kind of promising to change if you can get what was lost is returned. A lot of what ifs here. What if I could have helped? What if I would have called? What if I would have checked on my loved one? Would this still have happened? Asking God for healing. God, if you do this, then I'll never do this again. And acceptance is the person faces the reality, experiences closure, you're going to be okay, you're moving on, you're starting to stabilize.